Matt.
What's up, Rick?
You, my friend.
You ready? What you got?
Matt, it takes guts to be an organ donor.
That's dumb.
It takes balls to be a sperm donor.
All right, it got better. I thought that was it.
Gotcha.
The first one. What do you call a pudgy psychic?
I don't know.
A fortune teller.
Oh, that's triggering me. My chin's. I got a chin. I got a sure chin. I don't like that.
Oh my God. What are we doing today?
Well, I don't know, Matt. You know, it's a good week, brother. We got. Oh, you want to know how my week's going, or you want to know what we're talking about? Because I thought you were really asking me how I'm doing.
No, but how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Matt. Thanks for asking. I'm doing so well. We got a busy week ahead of us. We have a confirmation day. People coming to town.
Yeah.
Got all our franchisees moving in the right direction. Shout out to Angela in Utah, who got off to a tough start with COVID and a couple other wacky things, and is now a few short weeks from having a completely full facility. So props to Angela.
Man, she is rocking. Way to go, Angela.
Yep, and that's tough because she came out of corporate and is learning to be an entrepreneur while also learning to be an expert in exercise and like 15 other things. And man, had all kinds of obstacles and things pop up, which does happen in business. I mean, it's not for wimps, especially certain peaks and valleys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the valleys can be rough, and she weathered them like a boss and is a few months into having a gym open. It's going to be full in no time. So props to Angela. And I mean, just the efficiency, the way she's running her schedule per your reporting, and just good all the way around. And listen, that goes for a lot of our franchisees. So we're just propping her because it came to mind, but everybody's moving in the right direction. We're really proud of everybody. So keep up the good work.
Yes, sir.
And speaking of good work, Matt, let's talk about sales. And I think, we always are trying to keep things positive, but if we're honest, people are drawn to negative. That's sort of the way that our human brains are wired, sadly, but that's the way we are. So let's talk about 3 ways you can screw up your sales process.
I mean, it's not a negative thing. I mean, it was one thing that we do a lot is a lot of coaching, and obviously around sales, because that's a big part of it. And so we're always addressing these things. It's not a negative.
I think 3 ways to screw up your sales process sounds kind of negative. I'm not going to lie.
The way you're framing it.
3 ways to not suck. I know, right? These are things that we see commonly, and these are easy fixes for common mistakes. But if you do these 3 things consistently, you will have a lower, closing percentage and, success rate with your sales, period. So let's talk about
these are the ones we see.
Was it 3?
A lot. Yep. Three ones we got. So the first one, it starts talking too much, and you always frame it well like this, and it's selling the braces and not selling the smile.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Well, you're just selling the stuff. And I think what we see, certainly if someone's new to business, is they're excited about the things. Mm-hmm. And they've taken a deep dive into the weeds with the stuff, right? Like the way that we train people, like, oh, we train 6 clients with 1 coach. All right. We've got an app. We have this, we have that. We have this functional equipment. We are going to burn calories. We're going to build strength and balance. And I think when you have a whole laundry list of benefits and assets and tools, if you're not careful, you'll just go straight into talking about all the stuff. And the stuff doesn't matter if you don't understand what the candidate that you're speaking to, what they want, because you only want to speak to the benefits of what you offer through the lens of what your customer wants.
Right.
And you can blanketly say, well, I mean, most people want fat loss or most people want this or that, but you have to ask. And I heard it. I sent you guys this little clip. I think it was just an Instagram clip. I can't remember the guy's name. He's not my favorite, but it was a great point where he said, a salesperson is standing on the sales floor, and a guy walks in and he's like, I want to look at the new Corvette. And the salesman's like, oh, dude, you're going to love this thing. He goes from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds or whatever that time is. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, and you are going to be able to pick up so many chicks in this thing. It's crazy how much pull you're going to have. And then you can take the top off so everyone can see you, and going on and on. And then the guy says, oh, well, I was looking for it as a present for my daughter's 16th birthday. Well, that's dumb to start talking about the stuff, because if you knew that beforehand, what would you talk about, Matt, about the Corvette?
Safety protocols.
Right? 100%. Like, this is a very safe car. it's mid-engine. It's less likely to lose traction. I mean, there's so many things that you could sell about the Corvette or any car that have to do with that, but you have no idea how to sell it if you don't ask the questions first.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of wrapping in our second point here is the not asking enough questions and you're talking too much. So,
sorry about that. That's a good point.
That's okay. But what you're going with is we literally in the sales process, we see a lot where folks, maybe they're just so excited, learned a whole bunch of new stuff, and they just start regurgitating all of that stuff right on the prospect. I mean, I've even heard it go as far as talking about like blueprints and the square footage and all the things, right?
Really?
And to a client, a prospect, like you're saying, like it's probably more beneficial to actually ask how we could help them or why are they calling us?
No, that's I had no idea that we got that far in the weeds, but it just goes to show you there's the positive side of that is it's enthusiasm, but it's manifesting itself in a way where you're going to lose sales.
Yeah.
So, we've got a guy, and we've talked about him here on the podcast before, Rami, who is just he's really good at sales, but he's really just has really high emotional intelligence. And so speak about like, you were also good at sales. So what should you be doing? Like, I call in, ring, and I'm like, yeah, I saw your ad on Facebook, or, I drove by and saw the sign or whatever. Tell me about what you do. What would the response be to that? Because the natural inclination is going to be what you said is like, oh, well, let me tell you what we do. And then, just vomit.
Or a brand new
words.
personal training studio in the area. Really, first, I'd like, how can we help? What are you looking for? What are your goals? What are you looking to accomplish? Because what you want is you want them talking, right? And then to go back to the first part, talking too much, that what kills all sales, right? Rule number one:
whoever's talking is losing.
Right. So those questions, it's always purposeful. Get the other person talking about themselves and keep digging into those. So if I came with you, it's like, hey, what are your goals? What are you looking to accomplish?
And if I said, and to your point, we've called this in the live sales process, because right now we're talking about like maybe even on the phone, like in any time.
Just phones, but this
right, certainly during a pre-sale. But let's say you've got somebody sitting in front of you, same thing, right? We affectionately call it peeling the onion, which means just getting down to the layers. So to your point, Matt, if you said, hey, what are your goals? And I said, well, I want to lose some weight. Would you follow up with more questions to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Be like, hey, well, how much weight are you trying to lose? When was the last time you weighed that? What has happened since you gained the weight?
Have you ever found in that seat when you start asking just a few more questions, it's pretty personal to people? Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. People start, they'll start telling you things. And the funny thing is, most of the time, this is our brand, is personal training. It says it on the door. They know what they're calling for. I've heard phone calls. I've listened to phone calls where literally clients will totally disregard if we're going off the rails, just for example, like talking about blueprints, they'll automatically just start going into their own goals. So this is not.
yeah. Great about your facility. Listen to me.
It's really not that hard.
Awesome.
But people want to just, dump all that out, and they're looking for help, honestly, most of the time. I mean, on occasion you'll get your, what's the cost?
Right. Well, you start there like, hey, straight away, how much does it cost? And the answer to that is, it depends. Yeah. We can, if you want to throw something out there and say something like, listen, we can do personal training for as little as $30 a session, but it's really going to depend on your frequency, and that has a lot to do with your goals. So let's start there. Tell me how I can help you.
Yeah. What are you doing? Have you ever had a personal trainer in the past?
Right. Were you successful with that? Tell me about that. You start digging in, and if you ask enough why questions, we've had plenty of people here, and it sounds like, a negative, but it's not, cry, because when you really ask enough why questions, like, hey, I want to lose weight. Why do you want to lose weight? Well, maybe I don't want to lose weight. I don't know. I feel like I'm lethargic. And it's like, well, when's the last time you weighed that? Or what were you doing during that time when you felt that way? Well, I was working out more. Well, why do you think you got away from that? And then boom, you'll know when you get to the core of why they want to come see you, whether it's accountability, exercise, instruction. Gosh, just so many things, just a head start. And then you'll see it click. And then taking the emotion out of it, which is very important. And I think we don't take that lightly. It's like we jokingly say, oh, everybody cries, right? That just means you're really good at getting to the core of why someone's there. But we don't take that lightly. Like, that is a big deal. And we are happy to get people to that place where we can say, okay, fine. Now we know why you're here. I understand where you're coming from. I got you, right? Let's come alongside me. We're going to get you to where you need to be. And we mean that. And it means a lot to us. And we're honored to be in that seat to do that. But I think, you just have to be really careful to continue to ask the questions to get to that point, because I think it's easy to get really excited. And in a good conversation, if you're a good listener, that's key. You're not thinking about what you want to say. You're really listening.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I think it's human nature for a lot of people.
Waiting for your turn to talk instead of listening.
That's a great way to put it. That's the way I've heard it described. And so if you're waiting for your turn to talk because you have a laundry list of things that you find to be relevant about your business.
That's me on the podcast anyway.
It's never going to happen.
I'm ready.
You've been waiting for 2 years. You're never going to get a speaking part. Yeah, I know. Oh. I just put my finger up like, hold that thought, Matt. Hold that thought. He gets to talk about it after to someone else. But to your point, I think if you're sitting there waiting with a laundry list of things you want to describe about, how we train people or, whatever that is about your business, you're not really listening, and people can tell. I don't care if you're on the phone, and certainly if you're face to face in a starting point session, if you're open or you're able to sit down with someone live, they're going to know whether or not you're waiting your turn to say what it is that you've wanted to say the whole time, or whether you're really listening to them and responding. So it's about being a good listener and understanding that it's all about the customer, and you just keep asking questions till you run out of runway, till you get down to the absolute core of why they're there, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of skill that you'll develop over time, where you will get someone who's relatively fit already. They're not very emotional. Exercise is already a habit for them. And they're going to say, okay, what's it cost? And you tell them, what's your goals? It's like, look, man, I already work out a couple times a week, but I got this injury. Okay, well, how'd you hurt it? Like, what happened with it? Okay, have you been to see a doctor? What was the diagnosis? Did you go to therapy? Did you get that thing? Like, where are you in that journey? Right. It's like, well, I mean, it's better, but there's not a lot of emotion tied to it.
Right.
Those people are just like, hey, look, get me started. I think you still need to ask a few questions, though, because it's going to allow them to dump that on you. And if they do that, whether it's very emotional about how they feel about themselves or how they operate through space or whatever with their, again, self-perception, or whether it's just literally, I have a bad knee that I'm trying to get better, or I need my whatever to get stronger for this trip. I think, once you get them there, then you're talking about, like, I keep jumping to the next thing
That's
already.
Fine.
I keep stealing your thunder. So
just keep going, buddy.
Just talk. This is exactly what you don't want to do. But what you're trying to build a relationship.
What the hell are you talking about?
You're trying to build a relationship with people. I'm trying not to get ahead of Matt because he's got these little points he wants to make. I like to let Matt have something, but I keep stepping on his ideas. But
just keep it going. Where are you going with this?
Relational, not transactional. Is that number 3?
Yeah.
Let's just jump in, Matt. Thanks for bringing it up. So what I'm talking about is you're trying to keep the entire relationship. It starts out like, hey, what's the cost? And if you ask enough questions, it becomes about how you're going to help them. So you're building a relationship, and that's what the business is built on. Mm-hmm. It's not built on, price per session or what have you. And so that's really the key. And I think that you have something to say about that, because, if you're offering, you might have something to say. If you're offering some type of a hook or something, right?
Yeah.
What would your
what we see, and we've with other places, and even ours from time to time is especially like, say, pre-sales. People get so wanting to just sell the deal, right? It's the hook. Like, hey, well, yeah, I got a great deal for you. It's 30% off or whatever it may be, instead of just selling really what we're doing to help them, right? And then it's all about the deal. Like, please stay. It's, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. And the long-term relationship with our customers, I mean, again, our average stay being 36 months, 3 years, that's not based on a deal or it's a good value already at full price. So if you have a tool in your toolbox that is a financial incentive to push people a little bit, that's great. But if you always rely on that, you're really not selling from a place of a relationship. You're selling from a transactional place. And our relationships with our customers are not transactional.
No, I mean, for us, it's really just the deal, or the hook is just get somebody to raise their hand and offer opportunity for us to help them, really. Look at it,
It doesn't even have to be that compelling. I mean, again, we'll say this to the right customer avatar. It's already a smoking value at full rate. So you don't need that crutch to lean on. Mm-hmm. And if you lean on it, to your point, you are then starting off your relationship with a transactional conversation versus, let me ask you a million questions about why you're here.
Right.
I don't think there's a person on earth that fits into the socioeconomic and demographic that we're going after that couldn't spend $300 a month to be a completely different person on the back end, right?
Right.
And if they can't, it's just a swing and a miss. But I think taking that individual who's really looking for a lifestyle change and making a, again, air quotes, deal with them is the wrong way to approach the relationship. And you might be setting yourself up for a quicker churn, right?
Mhm.
Or something down the road, because then it becomes about price, even though it's a smoking deal. If you're talking about it and that's the tool that you reach for the fastest, it tells the customer that's what it's about, even though it's not about that.
Just right away.
Right. Yeah. Tell me what you guys, how much is it? Oh, well, it's a smoking deal. You get 30% off. Yeah. We don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think that we've kind of bounced around a little bit. You
Sorry
jumped
about
all
that.
the spots. I mean, just went.
I had a lot of caffeine this morning.
I did too.
I lost track. I'm just start talking and I don't remember what the hell I'm talking about. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not on it.
So
today.
like the first part, selling the braces, not the smile, and not asking enough questions. Typically, what you see is, again, the person. If you're not asking enough questions, you're not driving the conversation.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like if if they're just peppering you with questions one after another, you're not building any value. You're just like, you need to drive the conversation. So that's why the questions come into play. With the questions, don't let that abundance, maybe learn new stuff or really excited about, say, the functional movement screen that we do or the format of the sessions or whatever. Don't then dump all that out onto them, right? It's short, concise, clean answers, because at the end of the day, you don't know the person on the end of the phone if they even know what you're talking about.
Right.
And you often see that. They go over, they say way too much about something, right? It's like, oh, we're going to run this type of session. You'll come in here 10 minutes early. You put your jacket over there. And they're like, what in the hell? It's like,
I just want to lose some weight.
Or appointment-based sessions. Come in. We'll take care of everything. Go.
Right. What time do you want to come in? We've been doing this for 30 years. Your goal's weight loss? Perfect. We are the perfect place for you. We specialize in that. Come on. Oh, back pain? Oh, girl, we got you. Right. Or, oh, hit a golf ball for the dude. We have so many golfers that come in. We have a lot of tools in place that come from a golf background. So come on in, man. We got you. Like, I'd say I can point you to 5 or 6 other people in here with the same goal. So you'll love it.
Right.
That's all you need to say.
Those are money, right? Short, quick, concise. And then you follow those right back up with another question, right?
Yep.
It's not like the silence.
Yes. Yeah. And what were you going to say at the very end? I mean, was it asking for the sale, or you had a great point like pre-podcast?
Well, a lot of times, so, we teach this a lot, and you see it a lot with new people sales, or maybe they've just never really got it, is folks then get so stuck in the process, right? Then they're like, all right, well, I got to ask all these questions. I got to do all this stuff. And then they literally, somebody's trying to hand them money, and they they just keep going, and they just keep running with it. And you're just like, okay, I just want to come in. I just want to try it. Can I come in there? Can I see you tomorrow? And there's like, keep asking, afraid to close, afraid to, just end it.
So what you're saying is, if we taught like 5 great questions to ask, and after the first question, they were like, this sounds amazing. Like, can I come in?
Yeah, let's do it.
You would then not ask
We're
4 more questions?
Whoa. No,
Hold
I mean,
on
to
now,
your
mister.
point, I mean, yes, you want to dive in a little bit more.
But no, to your point,
they're
like
just dangling it there. They just want to.
And I can't tell you how many times I've seen that as well. And you just want to grab the salesperson by the lapel and just shake them and be like, take the effing money. I mean, they're ready to start. You accomplished your goal in 1 question. Great job. Like,
It's almost like you're talking them out of it. You sure you want to do this?
wait a minute. You couldn't be convicted that fast. Well, it goes back to be a good listener and have a normal human interaction conversation. Don't have an agenda and a laundry list of things that you have to accomplish on this call, other than getting that person convinced that you're the right place for them, you can help them, and getting a yes. That's your goal. If you get that in 5 minutes, so be it. If it takes you, a lot of peeling the onion, it takes 15 minutes, so be it, right? Yeah. But don't, to your point, don't get so hung up on the process that you forget to just take the money when the people are ready to go, because some people are really excited. Yeah. If you're good at sitting in that seat and convincing someone that, if they have a fat loss goal or a bad back, or they want to go on a hike trip or whatever, and you're like, we're great. I mean, this is a perfect place for you. You're going to love it. And they go, all right, cool. And you're like, great. Mornings or evenings, so what works better for you?
What were your famous closing phrases?
Oh, I have a million. We just did them a few podcasts ago.
I know.
Fair enough. Would it be crazy too?
Right. Go back and listen to that one, guys, if you haven't.
Yeah, those were more like setups for actual closing. But I think this is good, Matt. Again, it was a great Matt's idea for this one. I'll give him that. But it's a really good idea, because these are things that we're in the throes of pre-sale with a lot of clubs right now, and we see these things a lot. So reiterate the 3 form one more time, Matt.
Selling the braces, Or
Don't sell the braces.
Don't sell the braces. Sell the smile. Not asking enough questions, and then making it relational, not transactional.
Perfect. I hope that helps you guys. Sorry I was a little scattered today, but as usual, Matt brings it back to point. So good job, Matt. Your dad joke was not bad today either.
Pretty good one.
You're winning.
I am winning.
Matt's taking over. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.